Alright, this is part 1 of the RN Role lecture, and we're going to talk about NCLEX. NCLEX is the National Council Licensure Exam, and it's evidence of competency in providing safe and effective nursing care. The exam safeguards the public from unsafe practitioners and assists state boards of nursing in determining candidate capabilities. The exam assesses your application of the nursing process for patient needs. The content of the NCLEX-RN test plan is organized into 4 major patient needs categories. 2 of the 4 categories are divided into subcategories. So patient need categories, number 1 is safe and effective care environment, and it's divided into management of care and safety and infection control. Number 2 patient need category is health promotion and maintenance. 3 is psychosocial integrity, and 4 patient need category is physiological integrity. That's divided into basic care and comfort, pharmacological and parenteral therapies, reduction of risk potential, and physiological adaptation. Be sure to go and print and review the most current test plan, and the link is provided for you in Blackboard. So processes that are fundamental to nursing are integrated into the questions, and it includes 4 major categories. The first category is nursing process. These are scientific problem-solving approach to client care. One of those approaches is assessment, and this is where you gather information and data about your patient. It includes subjective, objective, historical, and current data. There's also analysis that groups data and identifies problems, and it includes nursing diagnoses. Planning, implementation, and evaluation are also parts of the nursing process. Number 2 is caring. Interaction of the nurse and patient in an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust, and in this collaborative environment, the nurse provides encouragement, hope, support, and compassion to help achieve desired outcomes. The next category of questions is communication and documentation. Verbal and nonverbal interactions between the nurse and the patient's significant others, and the other members of the healthcare team are included. And events and activities associated with patient care are recorded in written and/or electronic records that demonstrate adherence to the standards of practice and accountability in the provision of care. And then the 4th category is teaching and learning. This includes facilitation of the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and attitudes, promoting a change in behavior. Make sure you watch the video in Blackboard from NCLEX-RN on CAT, which is computer adaptive testing. Computer adaptive testing adapts to the level of your knowledge, skills, and ability. Each new question builds on the answers from the previous questions. And so the way I explain this is you'll get an easy question on pregnancy. And if you answer that question correctly, it'll give you the next higher level of question, maybe a mid-easy or a little bit more difficult question. If you answer that question, it'll continue to go upward. And it'll give you so many questions on pregnancy, and as long as you answer them correctly, it'll keep going up to the higher level. If you answer one of them incorrectly, it's going to give you another question on that same level of difficulty. And until you answer a question on that level, it will not send you up to another one. So that's why sometimes people say, well, I had tons of questions on pregnancy. Well, it's only because they probably were getting them incorrect and continued to get some on the same level before they went up to the next. So the exam doesn't end until 95% stability of the pass or fail result is certain, or if the time runs out. You can access a PowerPoint tutorial before going to the test. Alright, so NTC will send you an email in mid-March for May graduates and mid-October for fall graduates for the application for exam. The online licensure application system was created by the Department of Safety and Professional Services to allow applicants to apply online for licensure. And you can only apply and pay for fees online, eliminating the need for paper applications. Schools can submit the statements of graduation information online also, ensuring that the Department of Safety and Professional Services receives this information timely and efficiently. Registering for the NCLEX exam, you have to register for the exam and you must go online, and that site is provided for you on the slide. The state office encourages students who want to take the exam to submit their application 6 to 8 weeks before graduation. They will keep your application form on file until the school submits the completion of graduation form. So it's verified that you graduated from an accredited program like NTC. They will then notify Pearson VUE, which is the testing facility, that you are eligible to test, and at that time you will be able to select a test date. After NTC grading day, the records office reviews course completion and enters graduation data into the system for the AD and nursing students. And you are the first program that's processed. When the diploma is printed and mailed to you, the statement of graduation form is also completed and submitted to the state if you have an active application on file. After your Board of Nursing regulatory body declares you eligible, you will then receive your authorization to test, your ATT, in the mail or by email. And you must have the ATT in order to schedule an appointment to take your exam. You have to make sure that the name on your ID is an exact match to the name listed on your ATT when you register, otherwise you may be thrown out. So your ATT will come a couple weeks after graduation. Several testing sites are available in the state, and you can find the closest on the NCLEX website. There is one in Eau Claire and Madison for sure that I know of. The exam is scheduled for 6 hours and it'll cost you $200. There's no refund policy of the registration fee for any reason, including but not limited to duplicate registrations, failure to reschedule, failure to appear, or if you have not received confirmation of your registration within 2 weeks, you should call the NCLEX Candidate Services. There will be 15 pretest questions that are not scored. Instructions, pretest questions, and breaks are included in your 6-hour time frame. You will for sure have 75 questions, and you may have up to 265 questions. If you are done at 75 questions, you have either passed with 95% stability or failed with 95% stability. And remember, if you need to change your appointment, you have to see the NCLEX Candidate Bulletin on how to do that. So, exam details. Your identification, you have to, like I just said, make sure that your first and last name matches your ATT exactly on your identification form that you take along. The only acceptable forms are passport books and cards, driver's license, provincial, territorial, or state ID cards, permanent residence cards, or military ID card. The check-in process, you should plan to arrive at the testing center at least 30 minutes before your scheduled testing time. You're going to be required to present your valid acceptable ID. You're going to be asked to provide your digital signature, a palm vein scan, and you will have your photograph taken. Hats, scarves, and coats may be worn in the testing room, may not be worn in the testing room or while your photograph is being taken. You will be asked to remove any watches, large jewelry, or accessories before entering the testing room. You're going to be required to place all electronic devices in a Pearson VUE provided sealable bag. Friends, relatives, or children who accompany you to the testing center are not allowed to wait in the test center while you take the exam. You'll be required to leave your personal belongings outside the testing room. You can secure storage will be provided. However, candidates are not allowed to access any of the prohibited personal items at any time during the exam, including breaks. Storage space is small, so you should plan appropriately for that. Testing centers assume no responsibility for candidates' personal belongings. The testing center will give you a short orientation and then will escort you to a computer terminal. You must remain in your seat during the exam, except when authorized to leave by the testing center staff. You may not change your computer terminal unless staff directs you to do so. There will be orientation to the computer and the testing, and it will include testing instructions. You will have the opportunity for breaks after 2 hours and again after 3.5 hours. The computer will automatically tell you when these scheduled breaks begin. You can raise your hand at any other time if necessary. Scoring is pass or fail. There's no partial credit for any questions. No results are released at the testing center. The test center staff do not have access to these results. The examination results are available only from the boards of nursing regulatory bodies and will be sent to candidates up to 6 weeks after taking the exam. You can also get your unofficial results after 48 business hours through the quick results service available in the NCLEX candidate website. There's a fee of about $8 for that. Results within a day on the state licensure website. Your status changes, so that's probably the quickest and easiest and least expensive way to check. If you failed, the Board of Nursing regulatory body sends you a candidate performance report. This report identifies performance as failing, provides the number of items administered to the candidate, and a summary of the relative strengths and weaknesses based on the test plan. This is intended for failing candidates to use to help guide your study before retaking that exam. Alright, questions are going to be multiple choice, and there will be alternative questions like visual or illustrations, multiple response, fill in the blank, chart or exhibit, and prioritize or order in response. All information needed will be on your screen at that given time that it's needed. You cannot take in a calculator. One drops down on the screen for you. And an erasable note board is requested. You must raise your hand. You're not allowed to write on anything else. So your success depends on your knowledge, test-taking skills, and confidence. Review courses and books with study groups are helpful, and we really recommend them. Plan for the cost of your reviews, exam, and license before the end of school. Adjust your schedule to allow time for review and taking the exam, and maintain a positive, healthy attitude while reviewing and taking the exam. Make yourself a study calendar and stick to it. This will definitely help you stay focused. So, the day before the big day, make sure you have all necessary paperwork and identification. Make sure you know where you're going. Go to bed early. Do not cram the night before, and do not party. On the big day, enjoy a healthy breakfast. Dress comfortably, probably in layers in case it's cold or hot. And arrive early, at least 30 minutes before your scheduled exam. Use strategies to decrease test-taking anxiety. Don't allow yourself to be affected negatively. You have the power to change it, and just remember that. Plan ahead. Study when you are at your best. Take frequent breaks. Don't cram. Think positive, and be confident that you will pass. Believe in your success every day. Plan the study strategies that work for you. Always maintain command of your emotions and breathe. Review, review, review. Practice questions, and more practice questions. Believe, plan, control, and practice. Tell yourself, yes, I can. And just a little bit about the Nurse Compact Act. The individual state boards of nursing are working together. Compact states function like a driver's license. One license issued in the state of residence, but is responsible for the laws of all states they drive in. The nurse may practice in another state, but has to comply with the laws of the state they practice in. Not all states in the United States are involved in compact licensure. So just make sure if you are going to practice in another state that you find out if they are compact or not, and if they are, you have to know their state laws and rules. Alright, so this is the end of part 1, and be ready to do part 2.